What is up, everybody? Josh Tapp here again. Welcome back to the Lucky Titan. And today we are here with EA Csolkovits, which, trust me, that was a hard name for me to get. But apparently I got it right the first time when I said it to EA. So that was important for me. But EA is the founder of GIVERS University. And this guy, in our pre-conversation, I got some really good nuggets out of him that I'm hoping to be able to share with all of you, because he's had such a great history. He interviewed over 1,000 millionaires in under 2 years on his radio show back in 1991. And from that has just stemmed an amazing business helping entrepreneurs to really give true value to people and be a giver. And in return, all these people are becoming much, much more successful presidents of their companies. So EA, excited to have you here. Can you say what's up to everybody and then we'll hop in?
What's up? And thank you, Josh, for, I have to say, you nailed the last name. In fact, you said it so perfectly. If I forget how to say it, I may call you. Because you were like Robin Hood, splitting the arrow with the arrow. You nailed it. That's very impressive.
I try my best. There's this feature on LinkedIn that people can use now where they can say their name. And that's been helping me a lot. Because some people, especially the names from India, those ones get me. I have such a hard time with those ones, but
I may have to do that with my own name. I'll check it out.
I would recommend it. It makes it easy for people. I have a very boring name. It's pretty easy. I mean, if you got it wrong, I'd be surprised, but I am excited to have you here, Ye, really to talk about giving. And I'm going to preface this for our audience, for those who are listening to this, because really where EA thrives is in helping you take where you're at, become a true value giver, true value bringer, and turn you into a very successful entrepreneur through that. And so most of you here listening to this, a lot of you are introverted type people who are saying, I don't know how, when, or what to give to people in order to really provide value to the world. So can we talk a little bit about that, EA, to kind of kick this off, the
Absolutely.
what, why, how?
Absolutely. And a part of that I want to be able to share with your listeners, what we teach, because it's germane to the question you just asked. I would ask your listeners to think the following. Think about the fires that you stomp out every day. Think about the times during the day when your stress level spikes, just goes straight to the roof. Think about the times during the day when you have a conversation with someone and you barely remember what you just talked about, but you do know that you have no more energy left. They just drained it from you. All three of those things, Josh, have one thing in common. There's a name attached to them. So what we teach is something that's very, very important with people on their road to success and increasing their income and their productivity. First of all, I want to mention, digressing for a half a moment, we want to mention emphatically, we love everybody. We love everybody. But what we teach is something that's not being taught anywhere else. And I do 1 to 3 podcast interviews a day. And I can tell you, no one has said they've heard this before. We teach people how to separate the person who they love from their deeds, which they may not love. And from that, they begin to discern, should I bring this person in closer into my life? Because when I do, my productivity will go up, my stress level goes down, and I will actually get energy from having them in my life. Or because I'm watching these deeds, should I begin to respectfully distance myself from them? Not rude or nasty or insensitive, respectfully distance myself from them, because when I bring them in my life, they're going to be bringing with and making me collateral damage, and I'll be stomping out all of these fires. So we teach people something that's not being taught. Businesses are open and closing faster than ever before. Products are being antiquated literally overnight and replaced by other products. And what do we have left? Relationships. And no one's teaching us how to discern who should we have in our life and who should we respectfully distance ourselves from. And how do we figure that out? A gentleman the other day was mentioned to me. He said, I read a book. He says, that's really right on. He said, I read a book just the other day. He said, I should have 5 good people around me. I said, you're right. You should. Question for you. Which 5? And all of a sudden he was staring back at me with this blank look on his face. And I said, do you see my point? No one's teaching how do you determine which 5. And so what happens is that we get caught up and we become collateral damage by having the wrong people in our life because no one's taught us how to discern. So what we have done, Josh, is we've sifted and sifted and sifted and sifted it down to where you can no longer say the how to. And we've identified actual deeds the actual things to look for. So when we say giver, we're not labeling a person. We're labeling the deeds of a person. We say taker. We're not labeling the person. We're labeling the deeds of a person. And so we've determined and been able to literally put together even courses and checklists on how to discern in advance who should you bring in closer to building your own giver community, because givers bring with them wisdom, wealth, and wellness. We call that the 3 W's. And respectfully distance yourself from the takers who will bring with the 3 D's, which are defeatism, disruption, and destruction. And my business mentor taught me, and I recommend for your listeners, have a mentor. If you're stuck on income and you're stuck in growth, then you need to plug into someone else who can help you get to the next level. It's just that simple. All right. And I have mentors over my lifetime that have really helped me over and over and over again. And I can share with you, one of the things my primary mentor that I met at an early age shared with me was the following. When teaching me about givers and fencers and takers, he said, when you're a giver, people will take advantage of you. Expect it. But you are never diminished when they do. He said, no one gets that second part. He said, everyone's always afraid. I don't want to know if I should give. I don't know. They're going to take advantage of me. They're going to abuse me, that kind of thing. And he said, when you're a giver, expect it. He said, don't be surprised when they do it. He said, but here's the point. You're never diminished because they did take advantage of you. They are diminished, not you. They lose the relationship. And here's the other thing, as he taught me on something that's called the law of compensation. He said, the law of compensation strives to be in balance. So when you give and they take, and they take and they take, you will get that back from someone else, from another event, from another business, from another joint venture, from someone else in your life. So he said, always be a giver, and that's the mode you want to be in. And that one of the things that will help you be in that mode is to always be responsive and not reactionary. The example I can give you would be as follows. If right now you were getting a medical treatment, one of your listeners are getting medical treatment, and the doctor said they're reacting, well, we know that's not good. Right? They're having a reaction to whatever the procedure is. Now, if they say they're responding, you know that they're doing good, right? They're improving. So my business mentor shared with me, always make sure that your intellect is controlling your emotion. When your intellect is controlling your emotions, you are in responsive mode. You are responding. When your emotions are controlling your intellect, you are in reaction mode and you don't want to be there. It's a no-win situation. So he taught me over the years, this business mentor of mine, I met him when I was 19, and he became the father I never had, even though I had a father, and I became the son he had, even though, he had a son. And we were just simply that close. And he taught me and taught me and taught me and rewired these burnt out wires in my mind, if you will, and helped me get to the next level and have some great blessings in my life at very early ages, as a direct result of not me. I was the son of a milkman. It was because of what he taught me, and I implemented those things. So with your listeners, for those that have their own businesses or they have their own gig and they have maybe a couple of assistants, 1 or 2 people that they work closely with, remember, giving is one of the best things you can do, and don't be afraid to give. Because if you understand up front, they're going to take advantage of you, but you aren't diminished because of it, then we don't have that fear anymore that controls us. Say, I don't want to give because they're going to take advantage. Because I promise you, it will come back, and it always does. Not sometimes, 100% of the time.
Wow. And wow. So don't let your intellect control your emotion, or let your intellect control your emotion, not your emotion control your intellect. And then another thing you said, and I can't remember what you called the rule of it, but it basically, if you give, it'll come back to you. It's not the law of reciprocity. What did you call it?
Law of compensation.
Law of compensation. Love that. I'm going to quote you twice and use that.
Yeah. Well, really, most people don't make money, and they don't make a lot of money, or they get stuck because they forget about, there's a difference between compensation and money. See, there's a difference between earning money and collecting money. There's a big difference. And one of the things we teach at Givers University is a giver is a person who will delay gratification to increase their returns. In other words, they understand the difference that I can make an investment in something over and over and over again and keep striving for my goals and what I want. And over time, those things must come back, because this law of compensation is like a scale, Josh. And on one side, it's got services. And on the other side of the scale is rewards. It's also commonly referred to as services and reward scale. We call it the law of compensation. And one of the things we want to do in our life is fill up the side of the scale with the services part that we give, and work as hard as we can to put that scale out of balance, so that the services side we have delivered is so heavy and so full that when that scale forces itself, and it does, to get in balance, the rewards part is automatically more as a direct result of what we've contributed. And so we've determined statistically, by the way, that about 20% of the population are givers. You put these people in any situation, doesn't matter what it is, home, family, business, social life, doesn't matter what it is, and they will, in a short period of time, Josh, begin contributing. They'll give to it, they'll share with it, they'll invest in it, they'll build in it, they'll help it. They're just wired that way. By contrast, the other Grand Canyon side are the takers, which incidentally also is 20%. These are the people that within a short period of time, you put them in any situation, and they will begin to craft a way to take from it. They'll take from it spiritually, mentally, morally, emotionally, financially. The list goes on. They're wired that way. Now we got 20% on one side, givers, 20% takers, and that leaves 60%. Those are what we call fencers, because they sit on the fence. They act like givers when they're with givers. They act like takers when they're with takers. They can be great relationships, Josh, but we need to manage them. We need to keep an eye on them because they jump back and forth across the fence. So how do we discern? How do we discern who are those givers that we want to have in our life? Because when I don't have to stomp out a fire because of this relationship, my productivity is automatically going to go up because I'm not burning my clock stomping out fires. And I'll guarantee you, if you have listeners that are stuck, I'll guarantee you they're stomping out fires. And if they start looking at them, they'll say, man, I'm blowing a lot of clock time stomping out fires. Or I've surrounded myself with energy drainers. And I want to have people that build my energy and I'm building their energy. Or I have people that are constantly stressing me out all day. So we want to teach people, we want to give your listeners some checklists they can follow, usable, tangible, free tools that we want them to download it so that they can look at it and say, wow, this is something that's really going to help me discern who I should have in my life and who I should not. I was blessed to become a commercial pilot in years past to fly my own planes. And one of the first things that my instructor taught me when I was becoming a student pilot is he said, look out the front window of the plane. And he said, when you see a plane in the window that looks this big, and really quick the plane gets this big, start being concerned. He said, because it's coming at you and it's coming at you fast. It might be a 600-mile-an-hour closure. He said, so be careful. He said, what you want to do is you want to see a plane that's this big. And as you look at it, it goes like this. That's what you want to see in the window. And what we teach people, Josh, is to look at the plane, discern in advance, and look for these specific deeds. In other words, with our first course, which is the Giver's Mindset course, we've identified 25 actual deeds. These are things you watch people do. And from watching these deeds, you can begin to discern, hey, should I bring them in closer because of what I'm seeing here? Or should I be respectfully distancing? Because if I bring them closer, I'm going to become an unwilling participant in the collateral damage they bring with them. And I want my productivity to go up, not go down. I want to unlock my income if I'm stuck. And I need to do that by having the right people around me, not the wrong people. So example, if right now, Josh, if you had itchy eyes and a runny nose, I could think, man, Josh probably has a cold, right? I'm not able to see the cold, but I know the cold is the cause, but I can observe the symptoms, and the symptoms teach me that you may have a cold. Same is true. We teach people discern these symptoms, or in this instance, look for these deeds. And out of the 25 do's, if you see them doing like 13 of them on one side, you may think, okay, they're being a little takerish. Maybe I should think about respectfully distancing myself, because I'm going to be stomping out fires and my stress level is going to go up and my productivity is going to go down because I've pulled them in close. So we teach people to discern the relationships. And because of that, we have a saying that goes, givers earn 3 times more because givers discern 3 times more.
Love that. I should have just ended the interview right there. Your mic dropping left and right. I don't even need to say anything. This is unbelievable. So I'm going to go back and re-listen to this episode first off, because I'm trying not to jot down notes this whole time. But I want to ask you this, EA, when it comes to finding you and finding where people can get it. I mean, you kind of teased it. Hey, we have a place to go download this. Please tell us where that is. I'm going to go get there right after this.
Okay, great. Well, first they can go right to the website, which is giversuniversity.com. And they'll see on each page a place where they can put in their first name and email. That's all we want. And then they can subscribe to our e-newsletter. And what'll happen is within literally a few minutes, they're going to get a free download. We want them to print it off. We want them to carry on. And it's the name of the download is 6 arrows that takers shoot at givers. And when people look at this, they go, it's sort of like the example I could use is when you're getting ready to buy a green car, all of a sudden you see all the green cars on the street, I mean, and because now your awareness is there. The green cars were always there. Now our awareness is looking at green cars because we're getting ready to buy one. And it's the same thing. People look at these arrows and they go, oh, this is good stuff. Because now they're seeing the green cars. They're saying, these are arrows that takers shoot at givers that cause givers pain and cause them to bleed. And they don't even realize that these arrows are being shot at them. And then within a couple of days later, we're going to send them the 25 do's I referenced. It's a 2-page checklist. We want to give it to them free. We're Givers University, so we want to give it to them. We're walking our talk, and we want them to print it off and carry it with, because it has the actual deeds that people do that we should be looking at and discerning. Are these the right people? And watch how, and the amazing transformation I've seen over and over again, Josh, is all of a sudden their happiness quotient goes up because they're not dealing with these things that are aggravating all the time. Their income goes up because their productivity goes up because they're not wasting time, and not literally wasting time, on non-productive events that are not even of their own making. It's because of the people they have around them. So I'm a self-improvement guy. I know you are, Josh. I know your listeners are. I'm sure they are. And that's great. We need to be on self-improvement, but no one else other than Givers University is teaching us, how about the other guy? What if he's not doing it right? What should I do about that? And so we get to that point specifically. And I gotta say, it's so exciting to be able to just share this with people and watch their lives transform and to give that to them. And one of the things we like to say in Givers University is as follows: your talk talks and your walk talks, but your walk talks louder than your talk talks.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, with crackers and peanut butter in your mouth.
I love that though. Well, man, so everybody make sure you go check out giversuniversity.com. And then he also has a quiz for you at giversuniversity.info. Go take the quiz if you're at all curious about where you're at on this spectrum, right? I think most of our listeners here, you love the personality type tests. This is really going to help you identify, are you a giver or are you a taker? And then they're going to help you remedy it. So make sure you go check that out. And then EA, can you give us one final parting piece of guidance to wrap this up?
Absolutely. And it's the 3 phrases that my business mentor shared with me. And he said, say this to yourself over and over again each day. It'll help you be unstuck. It'll help you go up to the next level when you want to get to the next level in your life. And so I'll share it with your listeners, what he taught me to say, that I say over and over again to myself throughout the entire day, every day. And it is as follows: I will never give up. I will keep rising up, and I will always overcome.